We are very pleased to organize Hispanic Heritage Month at Essex County College. This is an effort, it's come a long way. And the purpose of our celebration is, well, the purpose is just to, our theme, building the future together, educate, empower, connect. We want to make these words meaningful, that is, educate. Yes, you are here in the college, we're going to educate you. But in the process, we want to empower you to understand that you have opportunities to do something while you're here and thereafter. And then connecting with each other, students as well as with faculty. And if I may just now, to talk about connecting with faculty, well, the Hispanic Heritage Celebration Committee of Essex County Colleges is organized by Latino faculty, administrators, and staff and students in an effort to embrace diversity. We need to step forward and show the best that we are so we can learn the best of others. And we have to think of sharing the best. And then we have to explore our common interest and apply scholarship through research and reporting conclusions. We're going to be learning more about ourselves, our community. I'm not here to start to preach to you about being Latino. I think you could probably teach me a few things about that. Being Latino, cualquiera se hace Latino. One thing that we do with the Latinos when we see each other, he says, hello, how are you? My name is Jose, or my name is Angel. Where are you from? As soon as you establish where you're from, that's it. Colombia, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, yeah? You establish yourselves in your identity, and this is important. And I want to just take a minute and show you a few of our stellar faculty members that we have here. This is Dr. Luis Salgado, who's been here, well, he probably doesn't want me to say, but he's been here more than 3 decades. And Dr. Salgado's in the Bilingual Studies Department. Also, we have Sam Lumsden, another member of the faculty who's been here 15 plus years. And my favorite people, Evelyn Marquez, who has been at the college probably as long as I have. And you probably have a chance to meet them all. But I'm encouraging you to go reach out to these faculty members. They can help you in terms of addressing questions about student organization. This is Milena Mercado Rubenstein. Where do you think Milena is from? She's from Colombia. But that's okay. Vamos para Colombia. And then, this is me, just in case, if you didn't recognize me. This is with a jacket, but, you can find me in 1106. And this is Dr. Jose Chestnut from Quisqueya, from the Dominican Republic in the biology department. A very resourceful, very helping man. One that, Dr. Frank DeRoy, one of our senior faculty members, he's been here. Well, let's say that Santa Claus was a young man when Dr. DeRoy came here. And Doris Torrey in the business division, a wonderful and talented. I'm going to thank Doris. She was the one that helped me put this slideshow together. I reach out to people. I can't do everything. Another favorite person of mine, Dr. Lady Liz White, Panameña. And Dr. White, in addition to being a stellar teacher, she was also administration dean of faculty for some time. And a newcomer, a newbie, a young man, Carlos Castillo, in the mathematics department. And he is also a stellar leader, a person that you can rely on when you want to talk to. Another Carlos, los Carlos están por matemáticas. Carlos de la Torre, who was former chair of mathematics, another talented man who's willing to take the time. And Inés Figueiras from Galicia. Si le hablas español a Inés, ella hablará con el ceceo y gracias y así. So you would understand that. And then our most wonderful person who's been giving a great deal to this institution, Zoraida Romero, and oddly enough, one of the women, if I may, I was thinking of my notes, a stellar example of a woman in mathematics, which usually you do not have, but she's a pioneer in mathematics, and she's a pioneer at Essex County College, and she was a pioneer in organizing and the Phi Theta Kappa organization. And another Dr. Cecilia Maria Rozak in physics. She's from Peru. And another dynamic person, very warm people. But all of these people are people that you can reach out. These are individuals that we're naming. I didn't have their photographs. Raquel Pernia, Margarita Roy, Ada Torres, Iván de Pascual, and Carmen Urban. So these are also new members of the faculty. So we are very proud to have you, to put this together. I don't want to delay any further. If I may, I'd like to call to the podium the president of the Phi Theta Kappa at Essex County College. If I may call Denise Mendoza, who will introduce our keynote speaker. Please, a warm welcome for Denise, please.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Denise Mendoza, and I'm the president of the Alpha Theta Theta chapter of Phi Theta Kappa, which is the National Honor Society for two-year colleges. I'm pleased to be with you today and have the opportunity to introduce our guest speaker, Yvonne Diaz-Clays. She is the founder, president, and CEO of HISPA, Hispanic Inspiring Student Performance and Achievement. HISPA is a nonprofit organization that encourages student success by recruiting, supporting, and coordinating Latino professionals' participation in educational programs in the communities where they live and work. Under her leadership, HISPA has recruited close to 1,500 volunteers, conducted 400 HISPA role model program sessions, and has hosted 13 youth conferences. In addition, Dr. Diaz-Clays has led the Leadership Workshop series for the New Jersey Governor's Hispanic Fellows program for the last 3 years. Her support of Latino youth has been recognized by various entities, including 2 recognitions this year: the Trenton YWCA 2014 New Jersey Women's Hall of Fame, and just 2 weeks ago, the Education Award by the Hispanic Leadership Summit of New Jersey. Her professional background includes a 10-year career at AT&T as an operations research analyst, providing expertise in data analysis, optimization, and forecasting. She holds a BS in mathematics from the University of Puerto Rico, a master's in engineering and operation research from Cornell University, a master's in mathematics from the University of Maryland, and a PhD in mathematics from Arizona State University. She's a fascinating person, so without further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Yvonne Diaz-Clays.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation to be here with you today. I want to say thank you to the students, because I know you're busy, but I congratulate you because I think it's important to hear the stories of other professionals so you learn from their experiences, so you don't make the mistakes that we make, and that you repeat the successes that we achieve. So that's why I congratulate you for being here today, and today I want to celebrate the accomplishments of all the Hispanic professionals here at your college. So a round of applause for them. So I want to tell you a reflection. I'm going to reflect a little bit on what happened last year during Hispanic Heritage Month. One of the things that happened was that on a Friday, I got a call from a friend in Chicago, and he said to me, I had a keynote speaker that was coming to speak to some schools, and the person is no longer available. Would you come and talk to some students? And I'm here in New Jersey, and it took me about 5 minutes to say yes. I found myself driving to Elgin, Illinois, from Chicago, and going into these communities and finding an amazing sight. I went into each school, and what I saw was kids that looked like me and like you. There were 100, 150 kids in each classroom that I went in, or auditorium. And these kids all had great aspirations, but yet a lack of self-confidence about achieving their dreams. And it was my job to share my story with them, to help them. And I saw one after the other the impact that sharing my story had with them. I also found myself in the Hispanic Heritage Day Parade in New York City. That was a first. I had to walk over 30 blocks or so. I had to come up with a banner for HISPA. I had to find a right attire to wear, and I did it. I said, okay, we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. I found myself once again in I will say, unpredictable places. And also I found myself speaking to the graduate students at Princeton University. And I say, what an amazing journey in just 1 month. I started speaking at Elgin, Illinois to middle school students and finishing Hispanic Heritage Month at Princeton University speaking to graduate students. And I want to reflect on how I got there, what happened. All I wanted was to be a mathematician. So how did I end up doing all these so different things in my journey? So that's what I'm going to tell you today. And it all started with this guy, Fibonacci. Fibonacci is a mathematician from the 1100s, so long ago. But, back when I was a student, a middle school student in Puerto Rico, I found myself so fascinated by the Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci just wanted to count how the population of rabbits grew. And he figured out that it grew in this sequence. And then, interesting enough, extensions of his work became available. One was to play with Fibonacci's tiles, meaning that they're tiles that have the size of the Fibonacci series. Anyways, I should stop for a second. So do we see the pattern of the Fibonacci series? Some of the students here, what's happening? What's the next number? 89, right? So we're adding the last two numbers of the series to get the next one, right? So you continue doing these tiles, and fascinating enough, if you draw an arc between the corners of these tiles, you get a spiral. And for me, as a young student, that was fascinating. Because how can Fibonacci, so long ago, know so much about our world, our universe? How can he, by just counting rabbits, figure out the secret of our galaxy, our Milky Way? Or know that a beautiful painting will have that ratio? Or know that even an X-ray will show this pattern? So with that said, since then, I started thinking that I wanted to be like Fibonacci. And guess what? So many people laugh at me. Think about it. A high school student saying to their friends, I want to be like Fibonacci, right? Very funny. But any case, I did struggle through my high school years. I had one teacher that said to me when I welcomed the pre-calculus class, obviously if I wanted to be a mathematician, I had to take the hardest courses available. And funny enough, the teacher said, I bet that you're not as good at math as your brother. My brother was really good at math, and he took the class a year before me. So that was quite a discouragement, right? So all that night, I was thinking, should I change to the easier math? Should I change to the easier math? That's just all night long, I was thinking about that. But guess what? I figured out I had to be brave, and I had to go forward, and I took the class, and I did well, and I tried really hard to get 100% in every test, so I could be my brother's 99s and 98s. And that was quite a learning experience, right? Because from that experience, I started building my self-confidence on setting goals and achieving my dreams. So next was college. I had to choose what to study. Of course, I already knew math was the thing for me, but interesting enough, everyone around me was suggesting that I study business, right? This is so many years ago now. If you say student wants to study math, yes, STEM, we talk about science, technology, engineering, and math. We want everyone to study those fields. Back then, it was like, why do you want to study math? So I went to the business school. I lasted there 2 weeks because I didn't fit in. This is not what I wanted to be. So I had the very lucky that my mother said to me, soñar no cuesta nada. Dream is for free. And I went 2 weeks into the semester, and I changed to the math department. And I found myself being the only girl, right? The only woman as a student there. But something amazing happened. When I was in my second year, Dr. Pablo Negron came into my class. He was going to give me teach a class for me. And he was a Puerto Rican young man that had gotten a PhD in mathematics. And that's the first day that I thought that, yes, maybe I could be like Fibonacci, because I saw a role model. I saw someone that had achieved what I wanted, and he was of my similar upbringings, my same country. And yes, he had to do a lot of things. He had to leave his family, he had to move to the United States, and all of those things. But yet, he achieved what my goal was, right? So the power of role model is a theme that you will see throughout my story and my life. So yes, I finished in Puerto Rico, and then I had the opportunity to make a decision, being brave again. Now you have to continue forward. I finished and I applied to go to Cornell. I applied to many universities, but I was very lucky to go to Cornell University. And in there, it was quite a journey because there was a lot of, I was with the best, right? They were there and I had to really step up. And one of the lessons learned from being at Cornell was helping others and the power of collaboration. Remember I said I was good in math. I was studying actually an application of mathematics in engineering in operations research. And there was a lot of people that were very good on the engineering terminology and concepts, but maybe needed a little bit help with math, and vice versa. So what did we do, right? I started helping others. And what happened? I got help. I barely ever had to ask because people wanted to help because they were receiving help. So that's one of what I call one of the lessons learned of my educational journey, is that you help on what your strengths are and you are humble to ask for help on the things that you need. And also walking the hallways is something that I always done, and I want to encourage every student to do that, meaning that even though I was in the operations research department, when I had a break, I would go to a lecture, like you came here today, I'll go to a lecture in another department, and go to different, learn about different fields. And as I was doing that, I was fascinated to find that in the electrical engineering group, they were working on a project that was very interested to me. So I was able to gather information from them and use that to finish my master's degree there. And the journey continued, and I want to tell you the story because have anyone ever heard of chaos theory? Chaos theory? Yeah, someone? Okay, so now you have homework, everyone, to look at what chaos theory is about. But that was the field that I was the most intrigued about. And I read about chaos theory for the first time on that book that you see on the bottom, The Mathematical Tourist. It was a book that someone gave me as a gift. And interesting enough, I thought that if I would continue on this journey, I had to find out where chaos theory was discovered. And it was University of Maryland, College Park. So I had to be super, super clever here because I had to meet some people from there to see if I could go to that university. Don't think when you want to aspire to go to another university, it's not only applying, filling an application. You want to get to know the people at that institution. And that's what I did. I was invited to go to a conference, and it worked out that the person that named chaos theory was there. All I knew, back then we didn't have photographs, Google his picture. All I knew was that this mathematician, Dr. Jim York, who was the person that discovered chaos theory, used to wear red socks. That's all I knew. He used to wear red socks. People told me he's the mathematician with the red socks. So of course, what did I do as I was meeting people there? I will introduce myself, shake hands, and look down for the red socks, right? And I was very disappointed because the whole conference, I didn't get to see him, but yet, as I was leaving, I saw this person that sat down in the lobby of the hotel, and when he sat down, what happened? His pants went up, and I saw the red socks. So I had to be brave, right? I had to be brave. That was my moment. I could just walk away because I'm tired, I'm shy, I'm embarrassed. Who am I to talk to Professor Jim York? But yet, I filled myself with bravery. That's all I can say. I cannot even describe it in any other way. I was embarrassed, nervous, all those things. But I did it. I approached him, I sat by his side. I told him about my big dream of being a mathematician, about studying chaos theory, about using chaos theory to apply to different problems. And he listened. And he said, you should apply to the University of Maryland. He said he gave me that encouragement. And I went back and applied and did all the tests, the GRE, all those things, and I got accepted. Not only I got accepted to go to University of Maryland, I also got a research assistantship with Jim York. So I feel so lucky because every other week I used to go and sit in the office with Professor Jim York. And yes, he was still wearing his red socks, and so many years have passed, he still wears his red socks. He already has his 50-year anniversary at the University of Maryland. So my dream continued from there to a place where the research that I was conducting had the people that wanted to do it. So I moved to Arizona State University to finish my thesis. So when you do your PhD, you have to also discover some new concepts and applications and so forth. And once again, walking the hallways paid for me, because I found that Intel Corporation, just by chance, was in the next building. They were hosting some seminars, and I learned about an application of chaos theory that was very similar to what I wanted to study. So think about that. If I had just stayed in the library studying, if I had not done those things, I will have not, my journey will have not been so amazing, how I call it, right? Unpredictable also. So yes, I walked the hallways, I got involved with Intel Corporation, they sponsored some of my work, and I completed my PhD in math. Only a few years ago, I met a professor from Arizona State University that told me I was the first Hispanic woman to obtain a PhD in mathematics at Arizona State University. So now I understand, it's amazing, right? Because when I was there, I was just a student that loved math. I wanted to accomplish this ultimate goal and have my family be proud and so forth. But yet, the way people saw me when I was there was as the one Hispanic woman that is finishing the first, for the first time a PhD in math. So it's interesting. I never felt Hispanic as I was there. I was a student, right? I love math. So when you look back at this journey, the common structure of my life has been that being brave opens doors, okay? And those doors, when they open, you develop new skills. And when you develop those new skills, there's a new network of people that you get involved with and meet. And when you meet new people, new opportunities arise. And guess what? When new opportunities arise, what do you have to be? Brave again. You have to be brave again to go to the next step and continue on. So after all, Fibonacci got it, right? That's what the journey is this kind of spiral, outward spiral that continues forward. So that's kind of, my educational attainments, kind of my big dream of being a mathematician and so forth. But then something happened, I came to work for AT&T right here in New Jersey. I had a great job, very involved with the Hispanic Employee Resource Group. So, we did a lot of Hispanic Heritage Month celebrations. I one time had 88 engineers doing the cha-cha-cha at lunchtime at AT&T, believe it or not. I also once saw a Puerto Rican gown, a Puerto Rican dress, and danced La Plena in the middle of AT&T labs. Because back then, it was about 20 million Hispanics in America, and our passion was sharing our culture. It was about sharing who we were, our music, our food, our traditions, our costumes. I look back at that and I think, wow, the journey has been amazing. Now we are 54.1 million Hispanics in the United States, and for me, it's all about sharing my story. It's about encouraging others to share their stories. So when we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, we celebrate the achievements of all these Hispanic professionals, so we can serve as an example for the next generation. So a couple of things happen. These changing demographics. If you're sitting in your desk, working at AT&T, doing data analysis, you don't see what's happening outside. But yet, I did get a couple of calls because I was very involved with this Hispanic Employee Resource Group. I was like the national president for that organization. So I got invited to speak at a town in Red Bank, New Jersey, that was like 2 miles from my office. But yet, now they had 70% Hispanic kids in their middle schools, and the dropout rates were very high. So kind of like, what am I doing sitting on my desk when I can really impact these children by just sharing my story? I also got invited to come to Newark, and I'm embarrassed to say, this is what, 2006 or so. It was kind of the first time that I came to Newark that it wasn't to go to the airport. And it was going into a school in Newark to talk to some students. And I walk in, once again, a classroom, and it wasn't a classroom, it was like an auditorium over 100 Hispanic, mainly Hispanic children. And I talked my story as I'm telling you today. And I had these kids that waited for me for my autograph. And I said, how can my story have so much impact? I just told what I've done. And that's when I started to kind of like awakening that your story has such a powerful impact on children and the youth. And it was really incredible to me to have one student stay until the end. I have her picture still because it was kind of like I just saw myself in this girl, and hopefully she saw herself in me. And it was the fact that she said to me, now that I met you, I know I'm going to go to college. I didn't know that before. So those were kind of these aha moments that I can share with you. And the last one was being at Microsoft. I was invited to speak at Microsoft for their Hispanic Employee Resource Group. When you go to our corporations, some of you, when you start getting your jobs into corporations, you're going to see that they have these affinity groups. And in Microsoft, they were just starting their group, and they invited me to speak about what we did at AT&T, kind of best practices. But when I was there, I was in a panel. And there was the national president of the Association for Latinos in Finance and Accounting, and it was the president of the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, and it was the national president. There was all these people that were representing thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Latino professionals. And that was the last aha moment for HISPA to become what it is today. The aha moment was that there's so many of us. We can make a change for the future of this country. We can change the statistics. And why we have to focus on the Hispanic community, mainly because it's the largest minority, is because today, 25% of the kids in the schools are of Hispanic background. In New York City, it's 40% of the public school students are Hispanic. In Texas, it's over 50%, over almost 2.5 million students. These are the kids that have to become engineers and scientists and mathematicians and doctors and lawyers to secure a successful future for this country. And that's why the journey took me to figure out that we have to have this power of role models, and we have to mobilize people to become role models. So I do always include that picture because, yes, we have role models from the history, the Einsteins and the Fibonacci's, right? But we need to look for real ones. And I look and celebrate today the accomplishments of people like Dolores Huertas or Hilda Solis or Sonia Sotomayor and so many others. And that's how HISPA became to be. After those 3 aha moments and after knowing and seeing clearly that there is so many of us that if we come together and we do this, we can change the future of this country. And that's what the vision and mission of the organization HISPA is. And HISPA stands for Hispanics Inspiring Students' Performance and Achievement. And it's all about, personally, I go into corporations, I go into universities, and I speak about the situation of this country, why it's so important, and I make it very easy for professionals to go into schools to share their stories. We're very focused on middle school children, because we know how important those high school grades and high school achievements are to secure, the higher education and so forth. And the model is a model that I want to share with you because this model that we develop can work even in this community, right? It's a model of working with the entities around you, the public and private sectors, and is having, HISPA in this case, recruiting, supporting these role models, coordinating the efforts, making it very easy for them, and also measuring how successful we are at changing the students' attitude towards higher education. So when you look at that, this model could be even replicated within a community like yours. You have a large community, I believe 50,000 plus students here. And you have so many institutions around here and so many corporations. We could potentially do a model where you have the corporations partner with your students and partner to go and visit schools and work the pipeline upward and downward, supporting each other and being role models for each other. So we will talk a little bit more about that a little later. But this is the result of the work. We have had so far 400 sessions. About 800 role models have been active at being with the students and about 6,000 students have been part of the program. So, and the funny thing about this is when you look at it, you say, wow, I can look at it like kind of half filled glass of water or half empty kind of idea. I look at it and I say, wow, we've done a lot. Wow, I have so many companies involved, so many people involved. But there's so many kids, there's so many children and youth that needs to be encouraged and pushed forward. Recently, I was at an event where Michelle Obama was there, and she spoke about how we have to be the wind that pushes the next generation forward. And that's how I feel. I feel that we have to do that together. I have to do it for you and for younger students and so forth. And we have to do it for our families, our nephews, our nieces. If you think about each one of you, the students here, you are here. You're making a commitment to your education. The same way you have to work for your children or your nephews, your nieces, your younger siblings, to help them also be able to have a path of education. And it is kind of our duty to secure the success of this country. There's a company called Educational Testing Service, and they write a lot of different papers and do a lot of research on education. And about 8 years ago, they wrote a paper called America's Perfect Storm. For all the educators here, I believe, I really encourage you to get that paper, or we can coordinate to have a presentation about that in the future. But the important thing is it talks about what's happening in our country. It talks about the three forces that are creating this storm. One is the globalization, right? We can get products and services from different countries. At the same time, you have these changing demographics that are so rapidly advancing, and at the same time, the educational achievements are too low. We cannot compete with other countries if we don't improve our educational achievements. And the need for highly skilled jobs. If you think about it, you can no longer have, every job requires a degree. And that's going to happen more and more. Before, you have a high percentage of jobs were in the manufacturing or other areas. Now it's mainly services and technology. So as the country and the technology evolves, what's happening to the jobs that are available for you? They require more and more education. So you guys need to embrace your degrees, get those associate degrees, go and get your bachelor degrees. You have to, not just for yourself, but the future of our country. I just want you to know that. That is a big problem, because if you don't do it, who is going to do it? In fact, I found this amazing quote from George Boggs, the president of the American Association of Community Colleges. And I love what he says. He says, reacting to America's perfect storm. And his reaction is that the community colleges are institutions that are very important in fixing this problem, right? America's community colleges are the gateway to higher education and training for nearly 1/2 of American college students. And they enroll most of the nation's minorities, low-income students, and new immigrants. And all of us, need to work hard into assuring that you complete your degrees and that you're able to go out there and get the jobs. So if you are still deciding what you're going to study, I encourage you to consider careers in the sciences, in the technology, in engineering, the mathematics. Those are highly needed in this country. And we are already suffering because of the lack of talent. There's companies that are already reporting that they don't have resumes that are good enough for the jobs that they need to be filled. So we have to work together. We have to build this future together, not only for us now, but for the future of our children and our families. So it is really a matter of urgency. So, you can all do something about it right now. If you think about what is she talking about out there, you can do a lot of things. You can do a lot of things about finding that through education and empower yourselves to move forward. Look for the opportunities. Opportunities are not always going to come to your laps. You have to go out there. Always remember, right? I didn't tell you I drove to Washington, D.C., 4 hours, a young woman, on my own to go and meet that professor. I had to go there to find that opportunity. That opportunity didn't come and land on my lap. So I encourage you to find opportunities. I can tell you, I recently was looking at the National Institute of Health, and they have a specific program for internship for community college students. Because this country realizes the crucial role that community colleges play in addressing this perfect storm, now you have companies and institutions in the government that have specific internship for you. But are they going to come and say, hey, do you want this internship? No, you have to look for those opportunities. You have to go out there, okay? So what we are seeing is that in the last few years, we have an improvement on the dropout rates for Latinos. So that's something to celebrate. The only issue that we still have is that retainment. So I'm sure each one of you know others that might have just, say, given up. And maybe they were here, maybe they needed another 10 credits, but then they didn't finish. So it is so critical that the students here finish your degrees, and also that you push and help each other to finish your degrees. I think that part of helping each other and collaborating is very, very important. So we know that many of our Hispanic students come to a community college. I have a great story to share with you of a student that was an intern for me this summer. She was part of the New Jersey Hispanic Governor's Internship Program. And through that program last year, I got to meet her. And this year she came and worked as an intern for HISPA. And she was an Essex student. She graduated from here. So I had a great conversation with her about, how did she succeed here? What was the secret of success for her? And she shared with me that it was about being super focused to do as many credits as possible, as quickly as possible. So I know that not everyone has the opportunity. I know and I recognize that we have to work, we have children, there's a lot of commitments, but finding creative ways for collaborating is key. You take care, can you, even plan play dates for the kids so they can play where we study, and so forth. You just have to start thinking a little bit out of the box to figure out ways to move yourselves faster. And obviously, always seeking excellence and seeking, the best grade possible. So then you can, also continue your dreams forward. So yes, we know about setting goals and achieving the goals. And also, I want to highlight that this is a common trend for Hispanics at all levels. Entering students' aspirations, you say here 79% aspire to obtain the associate degree, but only 45% succeeds on that. And this is an average, a national average. So we know that different colleges could be lower. So it is all about working together, right? I'm really going to focus on speaking more to the students for the next few minutes, but there is a lot of information also of analysis and studies that have been done. So just talk to the faculty for 1 minute. I found this article, the Center for Community College Student Engagement, a matter of degree, practices to pathways. I thought it was a very comprehensive article. Is by University of Texas in Austin. I encourage the administration, if you have not looked at this, it definitely has great practices. It talks from step by step what administration can do to support the students based on thousands of data points. So this is just kind of just a highlight of it. I just want to share it briefly with you, but definitely focus on the students. But it is interesting that because of the America's Perfect Storm and understanding the need for highly skilled professions, there is a movement in the United States where Lumina Foundation, Bill Gates, Belinda Foundation, they are all putting so much effort and interest and resources in the community colleges. So it's very important to take advantage of that at this moment and be able to embrace those things and implement some of those best practices into the institution to continue forward and to be able to address the needs of the jobs and the opportunities that are out there for you when you finish. So let me just focus on the students, right? So what can you do now? And I just don't want to speak too theoretically, but very, very clear. I mean, we need to set goals. What is it that you would like to do? That has to be clear. Even if you set that goal and later on you might shift it or change it slightly, you need the goal. You need to understand what you want to be when you grow up. And it's going to change through life, right? You saw me from being a mathematician to now leading a nonprofit organization, right? Things are going to change through your life. But what is your short-term goal now, what you see, what you believe? And you have to persevere. You have to try to get that homework to get it perfect. If you need to ask for help, if you need to work with your friend, if you want to go to the counselor, ask the professors, whatever it takes. I know it's not easy. You need to be able to be humble and accept help from others. And you want to look on your jobs, the jobs that you're having. Some of you study and work. What are the work assignments that you're doing? Are they related to your field? Is there anything that you can do to make it more similar to your field or to get practicing on your field or something that is related? I mean, that's definitely something that you need to pursue. Also, there's all these research opportunities that I mentioned before. Apply now. So go on the web and put opportunities for community college students and see, you'll be amazed of how many opportunities are there, starting with the National Institute of Health. I would like in the next 3 months that someone send me an email from here and said, about that scholarship that you talk about, that internship, I applied and I went there. I hope one of you will take advantage of that or a friend of yours. Please know that those opportunities are there. But you need to work hard, you need to apply, you need to fill out, write the essay and do all those things that are required. And, how can we move forward faster? How can you take another 3 credits in a semester? What does it take to do those things, right? How can you seek the help and receive the help that you need? And role models. Obviously, it is all about role models to me. So look for people that maybe graduated from here, that are now in NJIT or Montclair or Rutgers. Find out people through your network, through your professors, the alumni network, and make some calls and find out, can someone be my mentor? Can someone be provide me help? It is okay. We want to help. I mean, Denise, right? Denise just shared something with me, and immediately I said to her, I have a contact in that place. I'm going to reach out to them and connect you with them. People are willing to help. More and more people understand that you cannot do it alone, but you need to ask for help. You have to be brave. So, I offer my network. I offer my resources. It's up to you to say, Yvonne, I really would like to do an internship at AT&T. Do you have any contacts there? It is that you have to do your part. But I can tell you, I have a lot of friends at AT&T and Johnson & Johnson and Burke and so forth, right? Verizon. So it is about connecting with people. So that's why the theme of today, I love the theme for today. I have not shared that with Angel because it's about building our future together. It's all of us together. It's the professors, the students, it's the local schools, it's the corporations in the neighborhood. We have to come together to make sure more and more students succeed in their education. And another thing that I think about is when you're trying to get a better grade and working hard or going to apply for your bachelor's degree or your master's degree or even your PhD, don't think only about yourselves. Think about the fact that the further you go, the further the next generation will go. Because if you, go higher or, achieve greater things, what's going to happen? You're going to become that role model to others. The ones that are coming after you, guess what? They're going to want to follow your steps, and if your steps took you over there, they're going to want to go over there, right? So don't think, oh, it's about me, Of course it's about you, but you don't have to think about it that way. That's not enough motivation for you. If what motivates you is helping others, then push yourself forward as far as you can, and others will want to do the same, especially your nieces, your nephews, and your children, of course. So seeking support from family and friends, I know, in our Latino community, we do that all the time, abuelita, mama, tia, everyone come together. Take advantage of that. You have a big test tomorrow. Can someone take care of my children today? Can someone come and help and cook for me today? You have to just get that help so you can go forward. And seek excellence. So I wanted to show you a little bit about someone that I admire. I have never met Brian Burke, but I know everything about him. When he was 8 years old, he found a fascination with playing with cards. Not only playing with cards, but building towers with cards. So that's what he chose to do in his life. That's all Brian Burke does, but he's the best at it. He seeks excellence. Not only that, he went to get his degrees because he knew education was important to be the best he could be. And he got a master's in design studies from Harvard University, and all he does is build towers with cards. Look at this tower. For me, it's unbelievable when I have to look at this twice to understand and see what Brian Burke has figured out. And is that search for excellence. That is my ultimate recommendation or advice to you, is that anything that you do, you seek that excellence, like Brian, and remember him. Look at what he has accomplished. I share that story with you because, once again, it's about seeking role models. And Brian is a role model to me. I don't know how he does this, but he's amazing, and he's just has a passion for one thing. So he figured out, this is what I'm going to do for a living. And he does better than anyone else. So, for me, it's truly a pleasure to be here today, especially when I know the importance that community colleges play in the future of this country. So, I want to thank Angel again for inviting me to be here today. I also want to acknowledge Carlo Magno Ontaneda. He is a good friend, someone that I admire, quite a champion for the youth, and specifically helping minority students achieve higher education. He couldn't be here today, but he's a great friend and someone that I owe a thank you for the invitation. And once again, to the professors here, thank you for the work that you do every day. Why don't you students help me thank the professors and administrators here for the work that they do? And I thank you for listening to what I call my unpredictable mathematical journey. And at your service, thank you so much.
Wonderful. It's a pleasure. It was a pleasure having you, Yvonne, and at this event. I would also like to thank especially Kiana Fitz for the artwork and the program, and for our members in our committee. We have with us, I believe, Maria Alvarado, and then we have Yuri, and I'm sorry, I spelled it Yuri. It's Yuri, Y-U-R-I, Yuri Bisono, Dr. Jose Chestnut, que no puedo leer. Oh, Dr. Frank DeRoy, Professor Inés Figueiras, Carlo Magno, Sonia Rios Cardoso, and Dean Carlos Rivera, Professor Doris Torrey, and Professor Dr. Lady Lise White. I'd like to thank you all for your participation in making this possible. Good morning and have a good day. Thank you.